The Armed Forces of the Philippines, or AFP, asked President Rodrigo Duterte to postpone the formal resumption of peace talks with communists. Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana says this will give the military time to assess the implications of any ceasefire on its operations. On Thursday, Chief Peace Advisor Jesus Dureza announced that Duterte ordered the postponement of peace talks originally scheduled on June 28. During his speech Thursday, Duterte says talks in July may still be possible. Malacanang says Duterte remains committed to pursuing the peace process with communists despite the postponement of talks. CPP founder Jose Maria Sison slams Duterte's disappointing and frustrating decision to push back the talks. He says the two panels had discussed a ceasefire declaration on June 21, or a week before the initial June 28 talks in Oslo, Norway. Because of Duterte's decision, Sison says the NPA have no choice but to single-mindedly wage people's war. The Philippine National Police, or PNP, confirms the primary suspect in the killing of Catholic priest Richmond Nilo in Nueva Ecija had been arrested. PNP Chief Oscar Albayalde identified the suspect as Adel Milan. The arrest was made around the same time the remains of Father Nilo was buried at the San Nicolas de Tolentino Cathedral in Cabanatuan. Before the burial, priests, nuns, parishioners, and bishops filled the cathedral to join in prayer for a funeral mass. Father Richmond Nilo, the second priest in Nueva Ecija killed by gunmen in the last few months, was buried June 15, Friday. Nilo served the Diocese of Cabanatuan for 4 years and served as priest for 17 years. He was 43. Vice President Leni says the government should explain what she calls the alarming fall of the Philippine peso to its lowest level in 12 years. She says it's alarming because of how fast and how low it has fallen, and we need an explanation on why this is happening. Robredo says an official explanation from government officials would put to rest any speculation on the peso fall, the lowest in 12 years. Robredo says she is concerned the weaker peso would burden businesses and may lead to job losses. It would further jack up prices of goods that have imported components. In the Philippines, economists say the peso value against the US dollar is affected by the trade deficit, the government's fiscal deficit spending, and the inadequate remittances from overseas Filipinos and receipts from the business process outsourcing or BPO sector. Money sent home by over 10 million overseas Filipinos is the second largest source of foreign exchange for the Philippines, next to revenues from the BPO industry. US President Donald Trump draws criticism after footage shows him saluting a North Korean general, while the nation's leader, Kim Jong-un, looked on. The moment was captured during Trump's visit to Singapore for a summit with Kim this week. In their interaction, Kim is seen introducing Trump to a North Korean general. The US president puts out his hand for a shake, but the general instead salutes Trump. Trump then briefly salutes the general. The interaction prompted disbelief among some Trump critics who said the president was too accommodating to Kim. The totalitarian leader's regime is accused of gross human rights violations. Democratic Senator Chris Van Hollen said on Twitter, "To no one's surprise, North Korea used our president for their propaganda campaign." White House spokesperson Sarah Sanders says Trump was merely being polite. She says, "It's a common courtesy. When a military official from another government salutes, you return that." A message from late astrophysics giant Stephen Hawking will be beamed towards the nearest black hole, as his remains are laid to rest in London's Westminster Abbey, Friday, June 15. The specially written composition will feature his famous synthesized voice. It will be beamed into space by the European Space Agency. His daughter, Lucy Hawking, says, "This is a beautiful and symbolic gesture that creates a link between our father's presence on this planet, his wish to go into space, and his explorations of the universe in his mind. It is a message of peace and hope, about unity and the need for us to live together in harmony on this planet." The wheelchair-bound professor dedicated his life's work to unraveling the mysteries of the universe and fought to overcome his disability. He will be buried by the graves of fellow science greats Isaac Newton and Charles Darwin. Hawking died on March 14 at the age of 76. His death triggered a flood of tributes from Queen Elizabeth II to NASA. Hawking was propelled to stardom by his 1988 book, A Brief History of Time, an unlikely bestseller. British astronaut Tim Peake, astronomer Royal Martin Rees, and actor Benedict Cumberbatch, who played Hawking in a television film and narrated his documentaries, will deliver addresses during the service.